Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. And today we have an incredible guest, Myrna Selzer. She has been an entrepreneur all her life in industry like real estate, leadership, consulting, you name it, she's done it. And now she started a new nutritious burger that is going to revolutionize the plant-based food market. And being vegan myself, I cannot wait to hear more
Okay,
about
it's good. It's good.
What Myrna has prepared for us and taste it as well. Now, Myrna, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, Simone. Thank you so much for having me. This is going to be fun.
I was really excited about this interview because I remember we connected through like
Hmm.
a few common friends and programs that we are part of together. And
Yes.
the more we got to know each other, and the more I got to know your story, and it left me speechless.
Ooh,
I
cool.
so I wanted to have you on the show because not only for what you're creating, but how that came about. So
Okay.
tell us a bit more about like your background and like how did you like grow up and the business that you've run.
Okay. Well, I grew up in small town Alberta, Canada, like in a really like a population of 1,200 town. I went to university and I ended up getting a degree in home economics, thinking that I would become a counselor because I specialized in what's called family studies, which is sort of like social work. But I had to take lots of foods and nutrition and food science courses to get that degree. And when I graduated at 21, I realized that nobody was going to listen to me about being a social worker because I didn't know anything at 21. So pretty much right after that, I went into commercial real estate, doing commercial real estate sales and leasing. Then a couple of years later, I started a residential real estate company, did real estate for about 10 years, sold it, consulting for 10 years, then another real estate company. And I sold that one about 4 years ago. And I really like the leadership and the visionary parts of that. But last May, I was going for a walk with a friend, COVID style, and she was talking about they were wanting some kind of eco product for an Amazon store. Oh, I better back up a bit. So 2 years after, no, 3 months after I sold my business, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Mm.
And so from about June and July, I'm figuring it out. And then I go through a number of different surgeries and like a lumpectomy to see if they can get it. They don't get it, da 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 da. And after interviewing a bunch of women about their experience with breast cancer, it seemed to me that the best solution because was to have a double mastectomy, although I only had cancer in one breast, because it seems like 5 or 8 years later you get it. So I thought I'll just be done with this. No more anesthetic, no more surgeries, and did that. During my recovery, I went to stay with some friends who were vegan because my friend had had cancer, and she was convincing me that I should. So I thought, what the heck? It's kind of fun.
Well,
It's an interesting
before
way to.
before we move on that,
Okay.
I'm curious to know how did you take the process of being diagnosed and going to double mastectomy? Like, how was that for you at that time?
Um, well, as friends call it, it was sort of my cosmic 2x4 that I needed to wake up to having more of a life than working and making decisions that were good for me. Like literally, it was because I'd had um, a pinched nerve in my neck, and my neck, to do x-rays on my neck now, my neck is perfectly fine and all the vertebrae are fine around it. But that was my first cosmic 2x4 that I did not listen to. And that was really painful. So this one was a big one. And so it was really interesting how I think I changed my neural pathways once I got it because I was very newly separated from a 30-year marriage when I got the diagnosis, like separated Tuesday, cancer Thursday. Um,
Whew.
and yeah, it was interesting. But what was good about that in a way is that my family and my friends really stepped up to be with me. And I'm a positive enough person that at night when I'd lay in bed, just absolutely terrorized by what was potentially going to happen, I would just say over and over in my head, I am so blessed. I am so blessed. Just trying to figure out where the hell the blessing was in all of this. And like I really created neural pathways about I am so blessed. I made it really clear with my doctor that if we were going to talk about real estate, she was going to listen to me. And if we were going to talk about my health conditions, I was going to listen to her. So we had a good deal. I had I had really good caring care, and my family really stepped up to the plate. Like My sons particularly were good. I have this rule with my sons who are, how old are they now? 29 and 31, is that if I ever say, I don't need you, don't come over Christmas, it means I don't need you, don't come over Christmas. I don't play games with them. But if I ever say, get your butt home, I need you, get your butt home, I need you. And I had to make a couple of those calls for my sons to be with me when that, because it was a really difficult time. But
I would love to know, like, for this is more for everyone that is listening right now, that is either going through a very tough time. I have at least 8 clients I can think from the top of my head right now that are going through cancer at the moment with an early diagnosis. So what will you say to someone that is facing what you face then right now?
There's things that you can do. Like, for example, I would suggest changing your diet, for example, getting rid of the sugar as much as you can. Get rid of the sugar, because it's my belief that the sugar feeds cancer. Get rid of the stress, because I think that's what brought my cancer on, was stress. So get rid of that, like walking, lots and lots of deep breathing, and reprogramming your brain, like seeing the other side of it. Like just this year, because it's now 4 years since I had my surgery, I think, or 3, just over 3. And I went into my closet in my basement and I found a pair of cross-country skis that I had no recollection of buying at all. None. And as I thought about it, I bought them while I was going through the different surgeries for the cancer. And I think I bought the cross-country skis because that would send my body and my mind a message that I would be skiing. This cancer wouldn't be getting me. I got these brand new skis. I'm too cheap to waste them. I'm going to be using these cross-country skis. So it's really interesting to find them
at creating something that you can look forward to, and not seeing this as this is the end, but I'm gonna get through this, and this is the life that I want to live when I'm clear.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's what I did, because I did not recognize them. I had to look at the tag to see if they were new or used. Like it was really interesting. But I think that really made a difference of seeing a vision beyond that. And what am I going to learn from this? How am I going to make different decisions based on this and change my life? And then seeing the humor in it, because oh my gosh, I have some great funny stories about breast cancer.
We can leave them for part 2 of the interview, because I know there is going to be now you mentioned that you have you met your friends. That's where I left the story. You met your friends that were vegan.
Yeah.
And so did you have like a sudden change in lifestyle?
Oh, I changed
It was like immediately,
away. Because I'm kind of a creative cook and I don't really measure that accurately. So it was just, to me, it was fun and exciting. And I thought it was a great way to eat. What I didn't like about meat is when the grease splatters all over the stove and always having to clean the stove. It was much a cleaner way to eat. And I could do lots of prep. Like on a Sunday, I could do lots of prep and eat interesting food all week and add lots of varieties with the beans and the seeds and the grains. Like
a lot of people, they would say they will not going to even try vegan foods because I don't know, like me being vegan, I know this come all the time. Oh, but being vegan is boring, that you always eat the salad. And here you are saying is like, it was exciting because I could experiment with a lot of foods.
It was so exciting. And I can pre-prepare so many of the foods so that I've got lots of things and lots of different flavors. And I learned to rely more on spice instead of grease and salt, which the salt kind of leads into another problem I have, in that I only have one kidney because about 7 years ago, I donated a kidney to my brother, who's now become a bit of a partner in my new business. So that's kind of cool.
So you mentioned spices, and then we mentioned kidney. And I know that actually your brother is the person who is doing the spices.
Yes. Yeah.
And so before we go into the dynamic of the burger and the spices, I want to know, like, how did the fact that you donated a kidney to your brother, which I know it happened also before the cancer, how did the fact that you donated a kidney to your brother help the relationship that you have right now? Did you play a game? Did you already had a great relationship before, as connected as it is now?
Well, in my family, there were 5 kids. And the first, third, and fifth kids all had brown eyes. My sisters all had brown eyes. And my brother and I had green eyes. And when we were little kids, it would be the green eyes would try to beat up the brown eyes.
I
And so
can see the family fights in there.
yeah. So with 2 against 1. So my brother and I, because we look quite a bit alike, we always had just more of a special affinity. And so when I heard that he needed a kidney, like I didn't even take a breath. And I just said, like, I'm giving you, like, I'll do whatever I've got to do. Because his kids were in high school at that time. And I wanted him to see his kids graduate from high school. They've now graduated from university. So it's really pretty cool. But one of the funny things that my brother says is that when he, it's kind of gross, but whatever, he thinks about me every time he pees because he can pee. He can pee because of me. But it's like, I like harassing him, and I love reminding him that he really, really owes me.
Like, hey, don't play too hard. You owe me. Like, you're alive.
Yeah, you're alive because of me, buddy. And I can take a plastic.
So did you bully him into make the spices for the burger? The idea is that you owe me one, now go and cook, or did it happen in another way?
No, he loves cooking and he loves making cool spices. So it was just like, and I was looking for spices for the burger. So it was a natural affiliation. And it's interesting because it's really got him excited about life again, because he's been in the same job for a number of years, and to have this new adventure is really shifting his life, and it's certainly shifting mine. And it's causing us to connect more frequently. So it's fun to be back in closer relationship with them, because we live about 12 hours apart.
So how did the idea of the burger came about in the first place?
Well, we started with a label you can read, ingredients you can trust, all seeds, nuts, and grains bread. And I took it to someone and she said, oh, this could maybe be turned into a burger. And I thought, oh, this could be turned into a burger. So I took the foundational mix we had for the bread and started thinking about the things that make a good burger in terms of the spices, the vegetables, the problems, like how does a burger stick together? How will I solve that problem? And so I don't know, it just sort of downloaded to me, and I came and I did it, altered a few things, made things bigger, higher quantities or less quantities. But for example, it just pretty much downloaded to me, and it worked on pretty much the first try. It's just been the fine tuning that we've been doing.
Kind of like meant to be.
It seems like it's meant to be, because and as a vegan, like primarily or plant-based, one of the things I do kind of miss is like having mustard. I don't have much to have mustard on. So the burger sort of becomes like a condiment carrier.
Yeah, putting mustard on a salad leaf doesn't.
Yeah, it just doesn't cut it. Yeah. So it gives me an opportunity to have mustard and things like that. And again, sometimes if we've grown up as non-plant-based, we just want some sort of traditional food, some like familiar food that just brings back memory.
The taste.
Yeah.
It is.
And this brings back that opportunity to have a burger or sloppy joes, or turning it into shepherd's pie, tacos, all those kinds of things will be able to be made. We're going to have probably 4 SKUs that'll cover those kinds of flavors. And Italian too, Simone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, like I remember when I turned vegan, one of the first thing that I remember like starting eating were like vegan burgers. I see sometimes I have burger nights with my wife, and I will have my vegan burgers, my treat for the week. And it is something that is linked, to socializing.
Yes.
About the meaning of food. Being Italian, food is something that brings people together. And unfortunately, like right now, there are a lot of foods that bring people together in an unhealthy way.
Yeah.
But what if
and that's one of my goals,
bring people together in a healthy way?
Yeah. So that's one of my goals, actually, is not just to make the burger, not just to make the bread, but to build community around the burger and the bread. For example, Zoom has become so popular. Like I really want to design Friday night Zoom parties where everybody's got their little package. We all have a glass of wine and talk, and then they go away and make it, and then come back and we reconvene and we share how we've created it, because some people are turning them into curry. Another fellow turned his into meatballs. Somebody make really interesting garlic bread, cheese bread, pizza base. It's like very hearty, but a pizza base. So just to go away and form community about the one product that's really, really good for you and turn it into all kinds of other things, I think it'd be like having a kitchen party, but we'll be doing it via Zoom.
That would be so cool. That's something that I totally would do, because now you can see how other people are cooking it, what other recipes there are. It gives you ideas on how to use the burger and the patty in different ways.
Yeah.
That's genius. I love that,
Yeah.
and I think that's a great blend for everyone. That if you're thinking about the vegan community,
Hmm.
uh, then how we can like be together and share recipes, but at the same time as well about the non-vegan community, because I
Yeah.
know that right now is a growing trend
Yeah.
for people that they might eat maybe like they're still eating meat or fish, but now they're reducing the meat intake with and looking at some substitutes. Did you find the same as well?
Yes. And like the burger is also going to be keto vegan, not just vegan. So keto vegan, because there's nothing to eat in that class of food. And one of the other things that people
Can
could
you
do,
explain what keto vegan is for the
keto means keto
non-technical that
vegan,
are listening to the show?
higher protein, low carbs, like
Mhm.
very, very low net carbs. I just changed the recipe on Sunday, so I'll be getting the exact calculation of net carbs. But low net carbs, high protein, and really nutritious, high fiber. Um, oh, what were you saying that I wanted to talk about? Keto, vegan. Oh, I know. Again, to take this mix, you could take this mix and blend it with some ground beef or ground pork and extend it, because those two, actual meat products are getting quite expensive. And this would add nutrition and flavor. And so you could have the best of both worlds. So you could, if you were feeling like it, you could transition a bit more into the plant-based without going whole plant-based, because it's hard for some people to go whole plant-based. And I never encourage anybody to do what I did, cold turkey, because they're probably not that interested in
It
in,
works
in
for
cooking.
some. It works for some. I remember I went vegetarian cold turkey,
Mm-hmm.
but to become vegan, it took me from vegetarian to vegan a good like 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years of going back and forth because cheese, like getting rid of the craving for cheese and so on.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about the journey with food, it is a very personal journey. It is a very
It,
intimate journey that we have
it
with
is.
ourselves, because food is one of the first experiences that we have in life. So there are so
Yeah.
many memories, there's so many emotions
Mm-hmm.
that are attached to food. And what we're saying here is that you don't have to have either one or the other.
No, you don't. And
Maybe
like,
you can
I
have
actually
both.
am more of a faux vegan, because occasionally, like if I'm having a really nice glass of red wine, I just might want a little piece of cheese, and I allow
Mhm.
myself that because it's so good with the red wine. But 90% of the time I'm vegan. But
and
I'm
and
not going to say you'll never have cheese, Myrna, because
because
then
it
I'll
ain't
probably
gonna
want it. I
happen.
want it more. So,
And
but
that's so for true for everyone that is listening right now or is watching. Then you can find your own element on how
yes.
you integrate a more plant-based diet into a diet that already works for you, and having something tasty. That's what I found is actually
Mhm.
one of the easiest way to integrate new food. Or if you already are vegan, for example, is something that becomes a celebration, because now you're gonna have something tasty that is there, and it reminds you of that almost like comfort food without
Yes.
the guilt of, oh, I know
Yeah.
that this is not good for my body, but I'll do it anyway.
Yeah. No, this is super good for your body. Like it's crazy good and crazy filling. Like, and what I find too about being plant-based in the nutritious food, the cravings go away because your body's so satisfied with the good food that you're putting in it. Like you don't crave the bad foods anymore. Like I've become indifferent to them.
But I'm curious now, like from the because I know you had like Martin came into the equation as well.
Yes. Yeah. And
Uh,
Martin's
s-
a chef and he's had a good experience in food manufacturing of power bars, actually. So this is a far simpler product than that.
and what is Martin adding? Because from no, you had the original idea, your
Yeah.
brother added the spices, and Martin
He's bringing
is
the manufacturing experience and some of the marketing experience. And I also got connected to a consultant out of Pennsylvania who's helping me with connecting it to the marketplace and the kinds of things that I need to do with that. So I've got just an amazing team of people that know way more than me about this. And I'd have to say I'm mostly the visionary and the energy behind it,
yeah.
because I don't have a lot of experience in terms of being the mad scientist in the kitchen. That's my favorite part. Like every Friday night, I think, ooh, what could I create now? So I create something different. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is it already for sale, the burger, or is it gonna be for sale soon, where people
I
can
think in
find
the
it?
next 60 days, by the end of for sure by the end of May, it'll be available because we want to hit the burger season here.
Mhm.
Our limiting factor is usually getting the packaging, but we'll be starting to sell it bulk to restaurants in the next probably 3 to 4 weeks. And
And
that would
what's
be
the
good
name?
because then
The name of
restaurants
the
can have some
brand?
good product.
Because you haven't mentioned the name of the brand yet. What's the name of the
Oh yeah,
brand?
we haven't. So it started out as Bodacious. Haha.
Of course.
Bodacious Artisan Breads with a Z, because that was the only URL we can get. And then as we start to communicate with it, we start to call it Babs, capital B, capital A, capital B, Z. So we've got Babs.rocks, babsburgers.rocks. I think, I don't know. I can't even remember all our URLs, but we're not going to go .com or .ca because that's far, far too boring.
Babs.rocks. And so
Babs.rocks. So
if you're around and check it out, look for Babs in particular after May 2021, which is the time frame, the year that we are talking about here in this interview. Maybe you listen to it like few years later or before May, so then you can see in terms of time frame. And is it going to be released in particular regions or particular state first? Where is the distribution going to start?
It's going to start in Western Canada first, and then our goal is probably to take it down the western coast of the US. And I'm looking to manufacture in Eastern US because again, along the Eastern seaboard would be good. And I'm talking to 2 people actually in the UK who just based on what they've heard and seen, because I show them on Zoom what it looks like. And so, and I'm sorry, I left the packages upstairs, so I can't show you today, but it really looks like hamburger and it really sticks together like hamburger. Like you're not compromising your aesthetic at all with it. Anyways, I've got a couple of people in the UK that might be interested in taking it there. So we're working on all the trademarks so that we can get it into all of those marketplaces, because we want people to go into a restaurant and say, hey, I want one of those Babs burgers.
And that's what I'm going to be waiting. Like here, I'm in the UK right now, so I'm going to be looking forward to the moment where I can taste one of the Babs burger here in the UK. And then if you're around like in Canada, where you can see where it's going to be released first, you're the luckier ones. It's going to arrive to the US and the UK and the rest of Europe soon. So Myrna, if someone wants to get in touch with you or to reach out to you, because this is more, or to help out, because this is not just a business, this is a mission.
This is a mission, because I've been in business and I've done well in business before, and I really want to leave a bigger legacy and a bigger opportunity for more people to be successful. I have a sister who's brain injured as a result of a car accident, and watching her, she's had really compromised life in terms of housing. She was just diagnosed with a brain tumor yesterday, so it's a little emotional today. And so what I want to do is, like, if I can, no, not if, when I grow Babs to be really big, I want to create supportive housing units for people that are homeless. That's the bigger mission. The real mission is a label you can read, ingredients you can trust, great food that you can share with family and friends and build community. But the outflow of that in terms of profits, I want that to go to supportive housing. That's my bigger goal.
So I'm sure that everyone now is listening or watching, they will want to support you. What's the best way? What's the best way to reach out?
The best way would probably be LinkedIn. So just Myrna Selzer, and it's SELZ or Z if you're in the United States, LER, and like seller without a Z with it. But there's not many Myrnas, and I don't know. You'll find me.
And we'll find it. We'll put the link as well in the show notes. So make sure you click the link and connect with Myrna. Myrna, thank you very much for being on the show today.
It's been a pleasure, and I'm really honored to be able to have shared this with you.
Your story needed to get out. Your story needed to get out. Your mission needed to get out, and we're here to support. So thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you.